Hello and welcome. This is Africa in 10 minutes, where we bring to you trending business news from around the continent this week. Courtesy Footprint to Africa. I am Mike Mesikeno. It's great to have you on a special episode of the show. We are having this at the Banana Island Cultural Festival, and it's going to be a whole day of fun and celebrating culture. The theme is looking back, giving back. So yeah, we're doing a special episode today, pre-independence episode. It's going to be a nice time with you. Let's take a look at the headlines for this week. A renowned Angolan businesswoman Isabel dos Santos to discuss digitization of major industries in Africa with global leaders. And a Afrexim Bank signs deal with $150 million Korea-focused club facility. And why Africa is rising at the slowest possible pace. Ghana backs down on crackdown of foreign retailers and orders shops to reopen. Microsoft and Access Bank partner to improve banking security in Africa. And now the news in details. Africa's richest woman, Isabel dos Santos, has been invited to a roundtable discussion with global leaders about the digitization of industries in Africa. Now, dos Santos' invitation marks a milestone for Angola and Africa at large as global leaders continue to recognize the continent's vast economic potential. The oldest daughter of former Angolan President José Eduardo dos Santos, who ruled the country from 1979 to 2017, saw her net worth reach $3 billion in 2013, according to research by Forbes. The feat makes her Africa's first billionaire woman. Dos Santos acquired her wealth by taking stakes in companies doing business inside Angola. Now, according to a recent report from the World Economic Forum, Africa is home to 9 of the world's 15 fastest growing economies, making the continent an increasingly attractive environment for global business investment. The African Export-Import Bank has closed a Korea-focused $150 million club facility, which has Shinhan Bank as coordinator and lender. Other banks participating as lenders in the facility, which has a 3-year tenure, are KEB Hana Bank, Worry Bank, and Nong Hiop Bank. Speaking at a signing ceremony held in London, Dennis Denia, Afrexim Bank's Executive Vice President in charge of finance, administration and banking services, said that the facility will greatly enhance Afrexim Bank's capacity to achieve its core mandate, in particular expanding intra-African trade, supporting export and manufacturing, and significantly filling the trade finance gap the continent is currently experiencing by providing it with the requisite funding capabilities at competitive financing. Africa is indeed rising, but the growth is slow in some countries and, of course, rapid in some others. The World Bank, a global lender with a vested interest in Africa and also developing nations across the globe, estimates that the share of Africans who are poor fell from 56% in 1990 to 43% in 2012. Now, a 2016 report from the bank argues that Africa's poverty rate may have declined even more if the quality and, of course, the comparability of the underlying data are taken into consideration. Now, however, because of population growth, many more people are poor. The most optimistic scenario shows about 330 million poor in 2012, up from 280 million in 1990, the lender explained. The bank, of course, describes poverty as the lack of insufficiency of money to meet basic needs, including food, clothing, and, of course, shelter. However, poverty is much more than the mere lack of money. It is also the deprivation in other important areas of well-being, such as education, health, water, and housing, the bank explained. Ghana's Ministry of Trade and Industry has ordered foreign retail shops to reopen for business following what it described as extensive consultation with the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Ministry of National Security, the Nigerian High Commission and other relevant institutions. A statement signed by Trade Minister Alan Kyere Martin said all affected shops or retail outlets that were closed as a result of operations of a task force or retail trade is set up to implement a law that prohibits foreigners from retail business should be reopened with immediate effect. The ministry also informed the general public that the National Committee on Retail Trade will continue to ensure that all businesses operating in the retail trade sector of the country are given opportunity and support to regularize their operations and comply with the laws and regulations in the country. To improve security and banking experience for customers in Nigeria and Africa, Access Bank has partnered with Microsoft, a global technology giant. Now, both companies announced their commitment to providing custom-made products and services to address challenges being experienced in the banking industry in Africa. At a meeting with the Microsoft Chief Executive Officer Satya Nadella in Seattle, United States, Herbert Mwigwe, Access Bank's Managing Director, said as one of the biggest providers of digital products in Africa, this partnership and collaboration between Access Bank and Microsoft will enable us to be strategically positioned to improve security for online transactions, increase financial inclusion for the unbanked population on the continent, as well as create a simple and more efficient banking process for customers. Dangote Oil Refinery has received its first ship call at BBC Naples, which is expected to deliver essential equipment for ongoing construction work at the Dangote Refinery. BBC Naples is a 132 meters long, 9,755 tons general cargo ship operated by BB Chartering, while Hull Blight Nigeria is the ship agent. Mr. Dennis Bandura, Managing Director at BB Chartering Medias Limited, said, "Today, our vessel, BBC Naples, arrived at the Dangote Lekki jetty. It is the maiden call at the newly constructed jetty, and BB Chartering is very proud to have partnered with Dangote Group to make this milestone a reality." He added that the vessel is delivering essential equipment for the construction of Dangote Oil Refinery, and BB Chartering remains committed to provide its full capacity at the strategic level to ensure the successful delivery of this very important project. Africa's richest man and owner of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, recently mobilized $4.5 billion for his crude oil refinery project through debt financing. He revealed that leveraging on the World Bank private sector arm providing $150 million for the project will make lenders commit about $3.15 billion. Dangote said that the Central Bank of Nigeria will provide guarantees for about 575 billion naira in local currency for 10 years, while the Africa Development Bank will provide a $300 million loan. On that note, we wrap up this week's special episode of Africa in 10 Minutes, of course, which held at the beautiful Bainala Island Cultural Festival 2018 with the team Looking Back, Giving Back. You can send in questions, make comments, and keep up with the news on our various social media channels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, connect with us on LinkedIn, and follow us on Twitter. Visit www.footprint2Africa, where these stories were called from. Footprint to Africa, business news made in Africa, by Africans, for Africa.